Brightest blessings, everyone. Psychic medium Elizabeth Grove, the Paranormal Priestess. Welcome to the Paranormal Priestess YouTube channel, and thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new to this channel, if you just stopped by, my name is Elizabeth. I am a medium, divine channeler, spirit extractor specialist, white witch, and divine alchemist, and I also happen to be a divine feminine on the path of ascension. Coming to you straight from the spirit chair. Always so glad to be here, so motive be. Last video, I was coming down with a cold. It just so happened to be COVID, the Omicron variant, and I am doing great now. I'm feeling much, much better. Took care of myself, and it just so happened that as I was going through COVID, I went through a very deep, very profound spiritual healing. Having really, really deep shadow aspects come up, really deep healing, really painful healing come up. And of course, during the Mercury retrograde, I'm sure that had so much to do with it as well, right? It's going back into those layers. And I had really big realizations and epiphanies that I really think are so important to share with the collective. I know a lot of people want to know about this particular subject in which I'm going to be talking about, which is how do you detach from your twin flame, detachment on the path, how do you achieve union? And some people focus on getting to union, right? And we're going to talk about all of that, and I am going to be sharing with you how to detach, some suggestions, some tips, some questions I know that you guys have, because when I do readings for you, I get to hear these questions, and it's really important that they're answered so that way this can help you. I know that there are tons of videos out there about twin flames. I don't feel like there are enough videos that are combining twin flame journey with ascension journey and putting them together and really talking about the fuller meaning and the broader meanings of this journey. And I think it's always really important to go there with that. There are people out there that claim to be twin flame experts. And I have to say, if you do come across anyone that calls himself a twin flame expert, I suggest shutting off that video and never returning. There's no such thing as a twin flame expert, because if you are a twin flame expert, you are an ascension expert. If you are an ascension expert, you're already an ascended master. Therefore, you have no need of being incarnated here now. Right? We are not experts. We are here on a journey. We are always learning and unfolding. We are not experts or specialists at this. I will never claim to be one. So as I learn, I just keep on paying forward. And as I align with truth, I keep just paying it forward to everyone. And whoever is ready for that information, you're ready for that information. If you're not ready for that information and it's triggering to you, then there's healing to do. Definitely healing to do surrounding certain things. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it about detachment, full detachment, as a matter of fact, not halfway, but full detachment, soul alignment, helping you to achieve union. Now, I wrote down some things in my journals. Isn't this a pretty journal? The Tree of Life, I love that, right? I wrote down some things that I felt were really pertinent to my journey, reminders for me, and it just so happens that I want to share that. So you might want to just like this video, not because I'm telling you, yeah, like my video, but you might want to like it or favorite it just so you can save it as a reminder, or if there's some things that maybe you don't understand quite yet, you might want to go back and maybe you will understand it at another time, right? So maybe there's something that you'll miss in this, maybe that you have to go deeper. So that's what I'm suggesting. You might want to like this video, favorite this video, and if you feel like someone could really use assistance with this, with detachment, with their twin flame journey, ascension journey, then please pass it to them, because we're all helping each other, and that's what's so very important. And that's why I give thanks for this channel. I give thanks for my purpose as well. So let's get into this. And I will be reading some of the notes. So this is kind of cozy here in the spirit chair, reading my journal here. But you know what? Keeping a journal, I really think, is a great idea. If you don't do so already, keeping a journey journal. There you go. Keeping a journey journal. Some people keep dream journals, psychic mirror books. I think that they're very, very helpful in keeping track of your progress. They're also very helpful with being able to emotionally heal, right? Let those emotions out, get it out through writing, through being raw. So if you don't keep a journal already, that might be something that you might want to do that I think would be really, really helpful. So let's talk about first, before we talk about detachment, let's talk about attachment and what happens there, right? How does it happen? So attachment. So much attachment really does take place from those child wounds, okay? And when we go broader than that, coming from the bloodlines, right? Attachment comes from abandonment wounds. Attachment comes from neglect, from rejection, things that you have gone through when you were younger. Now, you could have had a parent that was abusive. You could have had two parents that are abusive. You could have had a parent that was just not emotionally available. You could have come from a divorced family. All of these types of things, these experiences, really can create a sense of attachment, okay? Really a sense of attachment because of this. It can create isolation. It can create, and the stories and the beliefs and the programming create things like isolation, entrapment, feeling empty, undeserving, unworthy, right? The not good enoughs, right? And we end up attaching to the mind, right? Let's talk about attaching to the mind, to the monkey mind, or what I call the psycho circus. Anyone see the movie Something Wicked This Way Comes? A little bit of a creepy Disney movie, but yeah, the mind can be an amazing tool. Okay, we want that mind to help us out with everyday things, everyday decision making. But when we attach to story, when we attach to these beliefs, it does not help us at all, and it ends up limiting us. Right? It limits us. It limits our experiences to be able to be within joy, be within bliss, open up our space, have that abundance and all of that flow in. When we go through these childhood wounds, which is so important with the twin flame journey and the ascension journey to dive all the way into and really allow those emotions to surface and really be with that. When we go through these experiences when we're younger, they're experiences that comes from the bloodlines. They're patterns and limitations that it's not about blaming anyone. It's just that's what happened, right? It's that mind thinking that we're separate from source, separate from ourselves. It can create a hole in the soul when we go through these different kind of traumatic experiences, this wounding. We become the fragmented self. We become the separated self. Right? For many, and this is a really important piece here, for those who come from families who have been dysfunctional, where there have been dramas or anything like that, a lot of children pick up the pieces of family dysfunction and end up taking on false identities, false masks. Some also call it false archetypes, which is very true, and it's something to really reflect upon if you haven't. Some of those archetypes or those false masks to help us cope could be the good girl or a good boy, right? Always having to be that good girl or good boy, always have to be that way. The savior, right? I need to be there to be the savior, the rescuer. The rebel, some people can turn to very rebellious behavior. The overachiever. There are many different archetypes that can be developed. And what happens here is that we lose our true identity. We lose that identity. We don't know who we truly are at the soul level. We are only attaching to the mind and who we think that we are, right? Because we've developed these stories. Because that pain, those emotions have been suppressed. We suppress it or repress it. We develop these stories. We develop these beliefs. We develop and wear these masks. So it's attaching to that, and we can form attachments to those masks. Okay? And then we go about life with these masks and with these limiting beliefs and limiting stories and everything, and we're separated from our own soul. So if we're separated from our own soul, we are not unified, correct? I know twin flames are always concerned about, I want to be in union, but we have to understand what that actually means and what is the process of being able to be in union. What does that mean? You want to be unified. You yourself want to be unified, and you want to be unified with Source. Completion. Wholeness. Okay? When we have these masks on, when we are living from story, when we're attached to the mind, to the psycho circus monkey mind, we are ignoring our true needs and our true desires. Okay, it then becomes about searching outside of the self for love, for approval, for that security, for that joy, for that stability. We're looking for that. And for many, they also look for someone to save them, looking to be saved, looking for Prince Charming or Princess to escape into their arms and be saved, to make everything all better, right? All the wounds, all the family tragedy, all the family drama, make it all better with that. It doesn't work, right? It's an illusion, right? Codependency can happen. Codependency can absolutely happen. When you want to be saved, you're a codependent. You want to have someone else be able to give you that security, that stability, that feel good, that having you feel good enough, coming from someone else. There can be an unhealthy codependency with one of your parents. Okay, maybe you haven't gone through a healthy separation with one of your parents. Perhaps one parent was abusive, another parent was going through all of those traumas, and maybe there was an unhealthy codependency there because you're constantly in that mask of wanting to be the savior and wanting to be the good girl or good boy. So these are all different scenarios. They're all very possible scenarios for people as to how attachment occurs. Okay, and I wrote here, unhealthy attachments and needs to have a person or a material reality. Could be money, it could be an addiction of any kind, to fill a void and make the pain go away. Okay, the pain suppressed. Normally that person will be always returning to the loneliness, the depression, the unhappiness, no matter what relationship, no matter what material, things, there's always that loneliness and that underlying depression that's there. All of that's there. And the thing is, Unhappiness will not be made, happiness, excuse me, will not happen until these wounds are tended to. That's what I have there. With love and acceptance, feeling the emotions, bringing love to them, bringing compassion to them, bringing gentleness to them. Embracing, this is a really important piece of information here, embracing both shadow and light and all of the spectrum in between. Okay? It's so important to know that love is the great unifier. It really, really is. Love is the great unifier. Now, for some people, it's very difficult to love the shadow side. It's very difficult to love the angry side, the selfish side, right? The side that just is not the side that we want to know about, right? But we have to recognize that by pushing those things away, pushing those aspects of ourselves away, we're cutting ourselves off, we're separating ourselves. And when we do that, when we push those other shadow aspects away, they actually enhance, they actually magnify when we're resisting it. It's definitely a truth that your shadows, the angers, the griefs, the depression, the loneliness, all of that is really looking to be unified with that love. We have to remember that, we are on a journey of ascending light, right? But in order for us to achieve that wholeness, in order for us to achieve being that unified self, unified with Source, it really is about bringing everything in and claiming it all. One of my favorite movies is Beautiful Creatures. I wonder if anyone knows this movie. If so, definitely leave me a comment. It's a witch movie. It is a true love story. And it's a love story between a witch and a mortal. And this witch is coming across her 16th birthday. And when she comes across her 16th birthday, it's about her being claimed by either the dark side or the light side. Okay, so they have this whole ceremony, and the moon comes, and all of this. But this is not a truth to be claimed by either one side or the other side, because that's not wholeness, that's not unity. And so I don't want to give the movie away, but this witch figures out a lot. Okay, she's told that she has to be claimed for either the light or the dark, and she wants to be claimed for the light. She's pushing away her dark side throughout the movie. She's resisting it. So she gets to find out a lot about unity, a lot about becoming whole. Okay? Claiming it all, the shadow, the light, everything in between, bringing the love, that great unifier, so that way those shadow aspects are not they're not giving us the negative side of those shadows where it's hindering us or limiting us, but those shadows are actually becoming helpful. There's a light side of the shadow, right? But remember, it's the love. The love really does heal all, okay? So, detachment. Disengaging from the mind and aligning with your soul. I'm going to say it again. Disengaging from the mind and engaging in your soul, your consciousness. Allowing your soul presence to come in. This is truly, truly going to help, okay? Yes, this helps with your twin flame, your beloved, your counterpart, whatever terminology you feel comfortable with using. Okay? You have to remember at all times that there is no separation when it comes to you and your counterpart. You are them. They are you. You are the mirror of each other. Right? It really is about achieving that unity within and with Source. Because when you do that, everything that is, it's like attracts like. It's the laws of the universe, laws of attraction, laws of resonance. You will attract that in which you are. And out of everyone, right, in the world, who is exactly your same frequency, your same signature? It's your counterpart, right? It's your counterpart. But you're not doing this work to get your twin. You are not doing this work to get to union. You are doing this work to become that in which you are. Love. You are doing it to be that wholeness, to be that union itself, to be unified. Right? So bringing in your soul and disengaging from the attachments in the mind. So some people have a very hard time detaching. I don't know why detach. Well, yes, I'm definitely going to say thinking about your twin, thinking about your counterpart all day, most of the day, is definitely attaching to the mind. It's definitely throwing a lot of energy in their direction. It's not helping you to do the work, the real deep work, the wounded child work, the bloodline work. And a lot of these things also filter through from the lifetimes, as I've talked about it. It's really important to ask yourself why you're attaching. Is there codependence there? Is there looking to be saved? Is there looking for someone to give you something that you can't give yourself? That approval, that self-worth, that self-value. Are you looking to quell that loneliness that just won't seem to go away? You're constantly looking for it through someone. These are only things that we can heal ourselves, to become whole within ourselves. If we're not whole ourselves, we can't experience that wholeness in the physical reality in all ways or with our beloved. So it's important to understand that. So of course, thinking about your twin all the time, it's going to be about disengaging from the mind and bringing in your soul, engaging your soul presence, asking your soul presence to intensify, connecting with that soul, seeing what your soul needs. What do you need? What does your soul have to say? Are there wounds? Is your soul, is parts of yourself fragmented? Do you have an inner child that still feels isolated or abandoned? Wants to be rescued? Feels like nothing will ever work out for them? Feels like you'll never be good enough? Are those stories there? That is the work to help unify yourself, right? Bringing in that soul presence. Yes, of course, coming off social media. Right? It's a no-brainer. Not follow it. That's attachment again. Attaching to social media, attaching to what they're doing, who they're talking to, needing to know, right? Needing to know what's happening, what's going on, out of fear. Out of fear that you'll be abandoned. Out of fear that you'll be left alone. Out of fear that you'll be rejected. Do you see where I'm going here? It's all of that wounding. Your twin, your beloved, is only going to mirror back to you what's actually happening within you. And you're doing the same for them. Pictures, reminders, text messages, all those things that remind you of your twin all the time. I'm definitely going to say here, I can't tell anyone what to do, but try your best to remove yourself from that. Okay? And I'm going to say this, and a lot of people don't say this because they don't acknowledge this part of it, but if you have a twin flame in the public eye, and you're listening to their music, or you're watching their movies, or you're watching their TV show, off. Off. It's keeping you attached. It's keeping you in that need. It's keeping you in that wanting something, needing love, needing something outside of yourself. So disengaging from the mind, disengaging from the thoughts, and engaging the soul. No tarot card readings, twin flame videos, all of these things, okay? Forecasts, etc. You know, those types of videos, I'm talking about those types of videos that keep you in that attachment, okay? There is a lot of helpful information out there, and there's information that's not helpful. If you find yourself obsessed with tarot readings, daily spreads, wanting to know what your masculine's thinking and feeling that day, and if they're going to contact you, or your feminine's going to contact you, what she's thinking, that's all keeping you very, very attached and searching for love for someone outside of yourself, which is bringing you the opposite of unity, because you're not unified yourself and with Source. So it's for you to really be able to step away from that. It's not about freezing the person out. It's not about freezing them out. If you are pushing your twin away, this is important to mention, if you are pushing them away with anger, with resentment, with jealousy, still bitter with wounds of rejection, betrayal, and all of that, it's important to address those wounds and get underneath that. To get underneath that. Right? There's always love between the beloveds. Again, think disengaging from the mind and getting into those wounds, those false stories, those false beliefs, those false programs, those false masks. Breadcrumbs. Disengaging from the breadcrumbs, the breadcrumb reach outs. The breadcrumb reach outs. You know the breadcrumb reach out. A lot of you do. Not everyone does. But you know the breadcrumb reach outs. They don't always have to be physically. They could be telepathically. Where you may be engaging in your soul a lot more often than you normally do. You're doing the work. You made a really profound shift, and your beloved texts you out of the blue. They somehow communicate with you out of the blue. Maybe they telepathically communicate with you out of the blue. Things seem hopeful, right? But it's breadcrumbs. It's not the entire cake. Things aren't really exactly ready yet, but you're getting good signs. So this is going to be really important for you to use your discretion here with breadcrumbs as to realizing that it's about the unity experience. It's not about just, okay, here I am taking a step forward. I'm going to give you a little bit of it, and then I'm going to draw back again. All right? If that's happening, it's for you to detach from that. Detach from that. Really important there. They are good signs, but you want to honor the full unity, right? And all that it brings. So it's really going to be about not allowing that to be everything that you deserve there. Okay, just breadcrumbs and okay. There's still more work to do. There's still more healing. And that's not to get the person. It's for you to do that work because you're unifying yourself. So alignment, okay, engaging the soul. We talked about that. Let the love flood into all areas of the shadow, nurturing those shadows, welcoming those shadows. Okay, with love, Okay, love is going to heal all. We talked about that. Balancing the force, right? The Jedi and the force, mastering the light and shadow, and everything in between. All the opposites and complementaries. Feminine, masculine, spiritual, physical. Creating that balance within, creating that unity within, claiming it all, right? Claiming it all. You are an extension of source love where there is only wholeness. Duality thinking, like us versus them, anything where you're in that dual thinking, that is separation. There's polarity, but polarity is one thing, duality is another. Duality is separation. Separation only exists in the mind. Okay, not within the true authentic soul. Align with the power of now. This is an important one too that will help you. Align with the power of now, where you are, right here, right now, aligning with your divine soul. Choose to make that shift. It's not really that hard to make that shift. You can make that shift. Disengage from that mind, stay in the now, ask your divine presence to step up. Your unification with him will naturally and easily magnetize, and work with the laws of attraction and resonance. So the questions, I'm going to end with the questions. How do I detach when there are signs, telepathy, and sometimes third-party info coming in? How do I do that? Again, it's going to be about shifting into your divine presence. Call your divine presence. Call your soul to enhance. Shift, make that shift. Align deeper with the love and completion that you are. Align with that love that you are without pushing your counterpart away or freezing them out. Remember, there's no need and completion, there's only wholeness. The journey, the quest is for realignment with wholeness, unity with self-source, and all to live from truth and easily attract and manifest from truth. So I know that was a lot, but I hope that this really assisted you. If you feel that this did assist you, please leave a comment. If you feel like you would like a lot more clarity with some of the wounding that's coming up and ways in which you are in that separation consciousness, definitely time to book a reading. Okay, we can do an hour reading, right? Angels and Guides reading would be the service. I will leave all my information in the description below. I also have light language sessions that help to heal and activate, and it really is a great facilitator of bringing these wounds up to the surface where the energy may be stuck and suppressed. But those two services will certainly help you a lot if you really need that support. I am here, theparanormalpriestess.com. Remember, from the heart of the darkness is born the light. Okay, and may love and unity be that in which you are. Because you are. You're unified love. Take good care, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.